welcome to Mallorca Cycle Speed Tours, and we are just having a quick look at a BB30 bottom bracket here. This is a S-Works tarmac, and Specialized use these bottom brackets in most of their bikes. It's a pretty common standard, and I've been having some creaking coming from the bottom bracket, and usually if you just whip out the chain set, which you can see on one of my other videos, I show you how to do that. It's quite easy and it's pretty quick. And if you do that and you just re-grease the bearings and the axle a little bit, 9 times out of 10 the creak will go away. But on this occasion, for the first time in many years, it actually is not going away. So I'm having to delve a little bit deeper, and in fact what I'm going to do is whip the bearings out and have a look at them and possibly just change them and see if that makes any difference. So just the first step is to show you inside here. What Specialized now do is they use these circlips as the retainer for the bearing. You can see inside there that there's a circlip there which is the shoulder for the bearing basically. This bearing I've already taken out, and I'm now taking out the non-drive side bearing, which you can see on the other side. So I mean, I just made a fairly basic tool. You can buy the proper version of these in the shops, but all you need to do is just have something which can slide in an angle like that, and then you just place it behind the bearing and you tap with a hammer from the other side to push the bearing out. Now the only thing you need to be careful of is that you are actually pushing evenly on the bearing and not on the circlip, because if you're pushing on the circlip, obviously that's not going to move and you could potentially cause damage. So just make sure you are actually pushing on the bearing, and the bearing will come out with a few decent taps. Okay, so I'm taking the tool, placing it inside, just looking to make sure it's nicely positioned, and then just give it some taps like that. So there's your bearing. These are actually the original ceramic speed bearings that came with the bike originally. And they feel smooth. They don't feel, there feels to be no play or graunchiness or anything, so I'm kind of surprised. But I'm going to put in some NTN ones which came from Hambini, and see how they go, and if they take the noise away. Funnily enough, the NTN ones, which are over here, I'll show you. These ones actually feel smoother and spin better in your hand than the ceramic speeds, but we shall see. So I know there's various different mounting compounds that kind of stick the bearings to the shells, which can help with noises and stuff. But for the moment, I'm just using a standard grease here just to try these out, just to ease the insertion of them. And you can just take the bearing like this and offer it up to the frame and just position it nicely like that. Okay, so once you've placed the bearings in position, you can insert the press tool. You can see here it has flanges that just basically connect with the bearings and will push them in nice and smoothly. This tool came from Hambini, and it normally actually comes with 2 very nice big aluminium handles, but I brought this over in hand baggage with me and I couldn't really bring those. They almost had this off of me at security as well, believe it or not. So for the moment we're just going to use nuts. Not quite as good, but it'll get the job done. And we'll tighten those down and then start to squeeze the bearings in. So you can see that as we just smoothly tighten this side, and you can see that the bearing is slowly and evenly being pressed in. I'm not turning very hard, there shouldn't be any great resistance here. And then what you will feel at a certain point is the resistance like that there where it hits the circlip, and obviously it's not going to go any further, so no point going crazy. Back off, and that's it done. Right, so the crankset's back in, all re-greased, new bearings, and Beanie, I'm counting on you to remove this horrible noise I've been having for the last few weeks. And if it isn't this, then I'll have to start looking elsewhere, because I've tried absolutely everything. So I will report back. Well, the good news is that I'm out here on the magnificent Formentor coastal road in Mallorca, and it's fairly sunny. It's about 13 degrees, so it's not hot, but it's alright. But the bad news is, as you can probably hear, I still have this really annoying click in my bottom bracket. And given that I've changed the bearings, I've tried 2 S-Works cranksets in there and checked the chainring bolts are tight on both, still the same. It's not the pedals, because I've tried one-legged pedaling and it's the same. It's not the headset, because you can just ride no-handed and it's still there. But I suppose you look on the bright side, it's kind of like an unofficial power meter, because the harder and the faster you pedal, the more noise it makes. But after many years of fixing these kind of creaks, I must admit this one's got me foxed. So if anyone out there's got any ideas, answers on a postcard please.